Hi, I'm James Gensterblum, the Director of Athletic Communications at Hillsdale College. Really excited to be joined today by head football coach Nate Shreffler, just to kind of break down and talk about the season upcoming here. Really excited. It's getting super close. We're a little over a month away from the first game and just a couple weeks to the first practice. Obviously, you are not a stranger to Hillsdale. You know, you've spent a quarter of a decade or more here. And you're not a stranger to coaching either, but this is your first kind of go around as a head coach. You've gone through a full spring now. What's the experience been like, and kind of what have you learned in these last 6 months of being the guy in charge?
It's been great. The transition's been pretty smooth. I mean, everybody on campus has been super helpful, and from that side of things with the administration, it's been awesome. The staff's been awesome. Everybody is pretty much intact from last season. So I've been in the trenches with those guys, and we kind of know how each other operate, and that part's been really smooth. The spring itself was, for me, it was a lot different just because of the keeping the clock and doing things that I normally don't do during practice. But that part was really good too, and I thought we got a lot of good work done, and the guys embraced it, and we made a few changes here and there, and everybody's been on board. So it's been exciting to be a part of the change and the transition too.
To kind of start with the season preview here, I want to talk a little bit about last season and kind of what you guys are building off of from last year. Obviously, you had an extremely difficult schedule to start. 3 straight road games, 4 games against probably the 4 toughest teams on your schedule, or 4 of the 5. So you guys got off to a very slow start, but your team kind of stuck with it, and when things started to turn, it really snowballed in a positive way for you guys to win 6 of your last 7 and finish the year with a winning record. You're kind of looking back on that experience, what do you think kind of allowed the team to turn it around over those last couple months, and what can you build off of from the way that finish went down?
Well, I think everybody stayed together. I mean, that was the biggest part. With Coach Ottermein's leadership, and it's one of those where his message never changed. We're going to show up and go to work every day, and believe in each other. And the guys did that, and I think the leadership in the senior class and then the captains kept the team together in the locker room, and the guys put the work in, and once the ball started rolling, it took off. And unfortunately, it took a little while to get going, but once it did, it was a fun last month and a half of the season.
You have a lot of experience back on the offensive line of 4 returning starters. Both of your all-conference players returning are on the offensive line, in Eli Heidemus and Nick Affolter. Just a ton of great experience up front. What advantages does that bring as a former offensive lineman yourself? What advantages does it bring to have that experience, and how can you kind of use that unit to bring everybody else along?
Yeah, those guys have been playing together now, especially the 3 inside guys, because Ben Affolter's been in the mix there since he was a freshman as well. So these guys have been playing together for a long time, and the nonverbal stuff that you really can't point towards with anything that we do coaching-wise is invaluable. So that experience of those guys, not just being older guys and having a lot of playing time, it's playing next to each other that really, I think, just kind of the synergy that group has because of that is you can't really put a price tag on it. I mean, those guys are seasoned vets. Even the guys that are kind of waiting in the wings are getting to be older guys too. So, Billy Collins and the tackle positions, we have Ryan Strasser and Ethan Josa. Those guys are going to be battling for playing time still too, and it's exciting to have that kind of depth being led by those guys and those all-conference guys.
You were very senior heavy at the skill positions last year. You are bringing some guys back. Shea Ruddy had an amazing true freshman year. The best in almost a decade by a true freshman receiver at Hillsdale. So he's kind of an exciting piece to look forward to. And then, Logan Van Inkenvoort and Ty Williams are guys who are very experienced, maybe don't have the statistical numbers that people look at, but they're just so invaluable in all the little things they do for your team. And also you have some real battles that a lot of these positions to sort through in fall camp. So, what are you looking for from the returners, and especially for the new positions? Kind of what are you trying to evaluate this fall as you make some decisions about who's going to play
Yeah, I mean, with Shea and Logan, those two guys are explosive guys, and they can do a lot of different things. They're going to get a lot of touches. I mean, that's one of the things that Coach Brad Otterbein is going to be, finding ways to get those guys the ball different ways. And, they can do something with it when they touch it. So both those guys are explosive. They're do-everything kind of guys, and excited to see how they progress, just in the offense and what we're asking them to do. In terms of the position battles, there's, the quarterback spot obviously is the big question mark. And coming out of the spring, we got 4 capable guys. Feel really comfortable with any of the 4. It's going to be interesting to see how camp shakes out and who ends up getting the nod. But that is a very capable room. And the only thing they're lacking right now is game experience. But they have a command of the offense, and they're going to do a great job for us. The other spot is the tailback spot, and I feel the same way about that room too. Mike kind of overshadowed those guys, but there's some very capable guys in that room too, with Kyle Riffle and Zach Tetler. And we got to keep Bobby Hoth and Nick Holleran healthy. But that room is a good group of guys, and there's some explosiveness in that unit as well.
On the other side of the ball, you do lose some key pieces, but you also have a lot of playing experience overall coming back. So the number of guys who were maybe not quite starters, but still got a lot of valuable experience to play with that unit. What do you want to see from that unit to kind of build on that experience and be more of what you need this coming year?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to play sound, fundamental football. It's got to be a great tackling group, and I think the way you get better at football is playing football and having that much experience with guys that are rotated in. They're battle tested. So excited to see the growth over the summer and what those guys are going to bring back here this fall. Definitely the line of scrimmage with the guys you mentioned, Lana Van Beek and Hunter Sperling. Those are 2 guys that could start anywhere in our league. Those guys are 2 of the key pieces, and Zach Tokey's another big body in the middle that's got a lot of experience as well. But mixing in some of the young guys like Drake Badger's another defensive end that played as a true freshman. And then in the secondary, we got some young guys that got some pretty good experience last year too, at the corner position and at our safety spot. So really excited about that the whole big picture of the group. The linebacker unit, with Jacob Vance leading the way, is going to be a solid group of guys too. And we're getting some guys off of injury that weren't with us in the spring, but are seniors, and they bring a lot of experience too that I think are going to surprise some folks.
Just a kind of brief mention of special teams, because I know it's an overlooked unit, but it's often really critical to the way these games turn out. You're going to be looking for a new kicker, you'll be looking for a new punter, looking for a new return man with Mike Herzog gone. But you also have guys who, for various reasons, got some game experience last year that, you kind of have that floor there that's pretty solid at all 3 of those positions.
Yeah, the hidden yardage is huge, and our coverage teams are going to be outstanding. The guys take a lot of, when they are on those units, they take that pretty seriously, and it's going to be one of those groups, whether we're covering punts or covering kicks. They're going to take a lot of pride in that, and we'll do a great job in the field position game.
I want to talk to you about this incoming freshman class. Obviously, with the rules changed last year, that true freshmen can now play in a few games without burning their eligibility, and just kind of the way football has changed in the last 10 years. Those true freshmen are contributing more than they have in the past sometimes at this level. And you're bringing in a large class, I think guys from 15, 16 different states, and a lot of exciting players, some of whom are going to need some seasoning, but a few of whom might be ready to contribute right away. So as you look at that class, what are your thoughts on what they could add maybe even this year, and also what you're looking for down the road with this group?
Yeah, they got to come in and learn first, so it's going to take a little bit of time with that. Physically and athletically, it's a great group. It really is. And for the ones that can figure things out mentally fast enough, there's probably going to be a few of them that get to play this year. Especially the guys in the secondary and the skill guys on offense. It's a pretty solid group of guys that are coming in together. So, this fall, and especially the early camp, it's really just getting assimilated into what we do on offense and defense. They have to obviously learn their assignments and be able to play fast, and that takes some time. But they also, they have to get to know their new teammates too and build those bonds, and that takes a little bit of time as well. So the faster that all happens, the faster they can help us. And I would expect there's going to be a few of those guys that are going to be able to get on the bus.
Yeah. Kind of just last but not least, kind of breaking down the schedule and some of the challenges ahead for you guys. Obviously, you don't have that long road trip to start the year that you did last year, but you still have a pretty challenging start in terms of, Indianapolis is one of the top teams in their super region every year. Michigan Tech is always tough, especially on the road. Ashland and Findlay are usually two of the top teams in the conference. So, obviously, you guys are going to be battle tested coming out of that first month, but kind of what's the key to kind of building the way you did last year, but maybe also having a little bit more success early?
Yeah, it's all about putting the work in. So, whether it's, physically on the field or just mentally, in the classroom, we're going to get ready every week. It's going to be a day-by-day process, and, whatever the results of the games are, they'll be what they're going to be. But I know we're going to play our butts off, and we're going to have a group of guys that fly around, have fun, love each other, and at the end of the day, we're going to win our fair share of games just because of the approach that we take into the preparation.
Coach, thank you so much for making the time today. It was great to kind of learn about the upcoming season and kind of what you guys have planned. It's a really exciting moment. Just a couple schedule notes so people kind of know when to catch your games. Season opener is September 7th. It's a night game against UIndy. That's always a great opponent and a great time. So that's a great game to come out to and kind of catch the team. Ashland on 2 weeks later is the conference opener at home, and they're always a strong opponent. That's a trophy game. It's a rivalry game. A lot of hype and excitement for that one. We have homecoming against Walsh on October 12th. And then November 2nd against Thomas More on Parents Weekend, and November 9th is Senior Day against Tiffin. So we're really excited about that schedule. It's going to be a great schedule. It's going to be great to see how you guys do. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yep.